I like to make furniture and so forth. I've made about 100 pieces of furniture since I came home from the White House. And I have a very well-equipped wood shop. And I've learned a lot by looking at these masters and trying to put part of their brilliance and artistry into practice with my own amateurish ways. I do feel that craft is important. It's important not only for the pleasure that is derived by the person participating in the craft and learning and honing, innate skills in a more and more advanced way. But I think the artistry of crafts also brings back the most pleasant and precious facets of our past history. Because somebody that did a beautiful piece of furniture or beautiful turning on a lathe 200 or 300 years ago can still bring pleasure to people several generations later. And I think this is something that America has been, I would say, extraordinary in producing, is innovative craftsmen and women who kind of take pleasure and inspiration from the entrepreneurial spirit that Americans have in abundance, because our country is really a collection or kind of a panoramic of immigrants who come here. Each one of our ancestors had an adventurous spirit, a desire to do something different and innovative, sometimes without being assured of the outcome of what we were undertaking. I think that's what's typical in the work of Sam Maloof in his furniture, and also Ed Moulthrops and his family in their lathe turnings. They are based on the basic principles of craftsmanship that have been present in the lives of craftsmen for centuries. But there is something that's new and brilliant and exciting and even inspirational in what they do. And I knew Sam Maloof very well. He was a close personal friend of mine. And I would say that Sam was not only a craftsman in his wood shop, but he was a special character that, in my opinion, personified the finest aspect of human nature. He was kind, he was gentle, he was generous with his advice and counsel. He had a great sense of humor. I think he personified what I consider to be a wonderful human being. When I finish making a chair or bed or a table or a chiffre or something like that, I'll do a turning on my lathe, even though it's it's not a work of art like the Moulthrops or Sam Maloof's. I feel a special sense that my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, and on down will appreciate what I did. I've made 4 cradles, as a matter of fact, to try to encourage the production of grandchildren and so forth for my children. And I think those cradles will be used, for a number of generations. Well, Ed Moulthrops used to go out into the forest when timber men and women were cutting down the trees and harvesting them. And he would look for a special stump that was left when they cut down maybe a large pine tree or a poplar tree or a hickory tree, or in some cases a walnut tree. And he would see within that rough-hewn stump with bark on it a treasure that just needed to be revealed. And then as he got the inspiration to actually turn something, he would put it on his lathe and produce something that was a permanent and almost indescribable beauty, like this particular turning here. So you have to really know not only the science of the handling of tools, but also the innate structure that God placed within a tree to produce a certain kind of wood, and which ones go together and which ones don't. So all of these things, I think, required the combination of artistry and talent within one's own heart and mind, the inspiration to make something beautiful and innovative that never has been done before, and then the science of what you are working with and what kind of tools you use to work with it. That's another wonderful aspect of craftsmanship, is you get acquainted with different tools. I've enjoyed particularly making furniture out of green wood. where you use a froe, for instance, which not many people know about, and you use a vise that's operated by your feet that holds the woods while you do work with a draw knife, and a spoke shave. And then you put the pieces together in a way that takes advantage of their shrinking and expanding when they're cured in different ways, and it locks them together better than any glue can, or better than bolts and nuts. So these are the kinds of things that I've learned from some of my own ancestors in Plains who made chairs that were, still extant 300 years later.